Thanks, Paul. Thanks, everybody, for being here today. Big week for me. Stacy's birthday tomorrow. So happy birthday to my wife. It's great having it only on the 8th. It's a birthday month, so it lasts 8 days. So happy birthday to my beautiful bride. And she had a pretty busy day Saturday. We had 3 hockey games, 3 football games, and 3 basketball practices. And the cats. So I appreciate her allowing me to do this crazy thing that I do. She's the best, and I love her to death. So happy birthday to my wonderful wife, Stacy. Players of the week, transitioning back to football. Austin Carr on offense had a career-high 12 catches for 132, and he's now got 10 touchdown catches, which is 3rd in team history. So he's 2 behind a pretty special guy to me, which is Dwayne Bates. And so having a great season. He's got 3 big games left, obviously, and just very proud of the way that he's playing. No big playmaker. We only made 5 explosive plays. Our goal is to get into double digits there. That was the lowest that we had all year, and you got to credit the Badgers for that. I thought they played very well, very clean. Defensively, our 2 inside guys I thought played really well at the point of attack. Tyler Lancaster was our player of the week, and Jordan Thompson was our big playmaker. Those guys were very active inside. Special teams-wise, again, I'd probably categorize it for like the last 3 weeks was probably a tie. We didn't make anything big. They didn't make anything big, but Corey Acker had a kickoff tackle, and appreciate his production. Cole Johnson was our offensive practice player of the week, and then Trent Goins and Mark Gooden, try to simulate the 2 outside linebackers last week in practice, and those guys are our co-defensive players of the week. I thought they gave great effort, and same thing with Patty Fisher, gave great effort in the kick game. So, 3 big games ahead of us, obviously no bigger than this week. A Boilermaker team that obviously went through a change, after the Iowa game, and Coach Parker's done, I think, just a terrific job. They have been ahead in every game at halftime that he's coached. They've had opportunities to win all those games. Some things haven't gone their way. It's just impressive to watch the effort level that their guys are playing with. We thought they were very talented a year ago when we played against them, and it took us all the way to the 56th minute to get a lead that we were able to finally put it away. I think we scored with 4 minutes left in the game to go up 21-14. So we know it's going to be a battle, a hard-fought battle. I think their young men are playing incredibly hard for each other. And obviously they've got the same thing on the line that we have. We're both trying to fight for the postseason. And they still have that opportunity ahead of them like we do, but we've both got to win football games. So should be a heck of a battle down there in West Lafayette. So with that, how about some questions, please?
Somebody goes. So I can Fitz, when do you start talking about the postseason with your guys?
If and when we get ourselves to the postseason. Yeah, I mean, you talk about what you have to do, and I think everybody knows that you've got to get to 6 wins, and before you can get to 6, you got to get to 5. So it's a 3-game season. I think our guys understand what they need to do and how they need to do it to get there, and now the challenge is going out and actually doing it.
And after having looked at the tape against Wisconsin, especially your offense, what did you do okay and what do you need to do better?
I thought when we threw on time and we caught it well, I thought we threw the ball fairly decent. We obviously missed some wide open guys. I thought Mick, schematically, we had guys open, and we obviously probably did too much because Clayton missed some shots that he had. We also missed some guys that we thought we had open. Up front, obviously, was not our best performance in the offensive line. And critical penalty that really, really hurt us. It's 2 weeks in a row now that we've had critical penalties up front, which you can't have that in the scoring zone against 2 top 10 teams and expect to win. But it's just a total team output. We just didn't get off the field on 3rd down defensively. We didn't sustain drives offensively. And then, again, like I said, especially the last 2 games against 2 very good teams, more times than not, to pull off a win like that, you've got to have something positive happen to you in the kick game. And we've been solid. We just haven't been spectacular. And, we didn't make any impact plays to change the game. We were close against Ohio State with the partially blocked punt, but, weren't able to even come close last week. So a lot of work to be done and just run out of time. So got to have a great sense of urgency.
Coach, it's been a while longer since the initial projection for how long Warren Long would be out. Do you have any update on how he's doing?
He's still out. Yep.
And changing veins to next week, Purdue is averaging like 45 pass attempts a game, which is the most in the conference. Do you think that the secondary is up to facing that kind of volume
Yeah, I believe they are. Yeah, absolutely. I think that, when you watch on video, I think that Purdue's doing a terrific job. I'm really impressed by David. I think he understands what they're doing offensively very well. He gets the ball out of his hands. I think if I'm looking at the things numerically right, and don't quote me on this, but I think of his 20 touchdowns, 11 are on deep balls, posts or goes. So he's throwing the deep ball very well. But I was really impressed with his throws against Minnesota. Minnesota played a lot of man, brought some pressure. He got the ball out of his hands very, very well. And I think he's doing a terrific job. It reminds me a lot of Dan Persa, how well he throws the ball, how accurate he is. I think there's a lot of similarities there, between the two. Very impressive young player.
Don't mind me. What is your thought on the Big Ten adding Friday Night Football? I've already done it Labor Day weekend, but now those next 5 weeks, it sounds like there'll be a game.
Well, from a standpoint, I think I've been pretty clear that I've sat up here, my love affair for high school football. And, I believe Fridays are for high school football, first of all. I understand also, the direction that the league is going. And I would hope that the thought process in the scheduling, would I have an issue playing the opener on a Friday night? I'd prefer Thursday. But if I had to play on Friday, that's fine. As the season goes along, I think both teams need, if you're going to play in a short week, both teams need to come off a bye. And if both teams aren't coming off a bye, you can already look out west and see what's happened in those games, and obviously skewed it. I have great concern about missing more class time, than we already currently do. But, from a standpoint of Friday Night Football, as far as maybe impacting high school football, at least in our state, Saturday, I think 44 or 48 of the high school teams played on Saturday. I think there were only four games or 4 teams that played on Friday. So I think it obviously depends on the state. So my concern, first and foremost, is health, safety, and well-being. And if you come out of bye, great. I think a short week is a mistake. And, again, the opener, I'm fine with playing a non-traditional day. But I would prefer to keep Big Ten football on Saturdays. I would prefer to play Big Ten football every weekend except for Thanksgiving. So I'll go back to the dinosaur that I am. The tradition was the right tradition. I played when we had Thanksgiving off, and I still believe that that's the right tradition. I am also not naive to understand what the driving forces are behind that, and I get it. It doesn't mean I like it, but we just need to play better when we are told we get the privilege to play Big Ten football.
Will you get some say in whether you guys play Friday night games over the next 2 years?
I doubt it. I didn't get a say in whether or not we were playing on Fridays. I don't think any of my 13 brothers did either. The other head coaches, I don't think we got a vote.
That was all at the 80.
Not at the coaching level. I don't know. So it wasn't ever discussed with us. So I get it. I understand it. Doesn't mean I have to like it. But I know my role, and I'll coach the team.
Given the emphasis you put on creating turnovers, I think you've had 2 going back to the start of the Indiana game now. Is that an area of concern for you?
Yeah, it's a big concern. Yeah, it's a big concern, Dave. And we had a couple of opportunities Saturday. Ball was on the ground once when one of Wisconsin's players reached it out. We tipped, I think, 2 or 3 balls that we didn't get either of those. So, yeah, it's a big concern. It's a big concern, and you typically achieve what you emphasize. And, we took responsibility for it as coaches with the defense today. Obviously, we're not doing a good enough job, even though we stress it every day, every rep, every play, and we practice it. We have to do it more. It's the name of the game. Turnover ratio is the number 1 correlation to victory. And when you're not taking it away, I think we're +1 on the year. Obviously, we're not doing a good enough job as coaches getting that stress and getting it achieved. So it's not top of mind with the guys. So we've got to be better. Definitely have to be better.
Going back to talking about David, what did you guys do well in that game last year, you think, to limit him to less than 300 yards, just 1 touchdown?
Well, I think he played well. There's no doubt about that, and he was a young guy. I mean, it was pretty. Like I said, going into last year's game, I was incredibly impressed by him on tape, and he's now a year older. I think we tackled well. I think outside of a handful of plays, some double moves, especially the one early against Nick that we gave up for a touchdown. We were kind of chasing him the whole game, and so I just think we're kind of fortunate. But. This is going to be a different challenge, this year because he's more experienced and he's doing a great job spreading the ball out. I mean, Yancey's got a lot of catches, but so does Cameron. So do their tight ends, so do their backs. They do a lot with Marshall and their Amtrak package. They're doing a good job. They're doing a really good job, I think. Watching them on tape, I think schematically they're very sound. I think Coach Els does a great job with their defense. He was at Nebraska, so we're familiar with. The packages that they ran there while he was there with Bo. So, yeah, very talented. They've been close in a lot of games.
Clayton's had such progression this year, but he might have taken a step back last week against Wisconsin.
Yeah.
How important is it for him to get back on track against a Purdue team that might be exploitable in terms of?
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but I think that it's on all of us. That's part of being the quarterback, right? You're the hero, and you're the guy that takes all the blame. I'm sure there's some plays he'd like to have back. One in particular, right, when he fumbled the ball. I think punt was a good play there, and we got momentum, 13-7. Let's go pin them deep. If worst case scenario, we pin them deep. Let's go play field position and. It's a one-score game, and obviously we didn't do a good job picking them up as a defense and getting off the field, off the turnovers. So, we've got to create more turnovers. We've got to keep them cleaner with the offensive line. We've got to help him out schematically and not put too much on his plate mentally. We've got to catch the ball better. But your question was about him. So the short answer is, yeah, he's just got to play the way he has most of the year. And if he does that, we'll be fine.
So C.J. Robbins, this is his 6th season?
That's correct.
Okay. And I assume that was because of a bunch of injuries. And have you been encouraging him to stick with it and keep coming back and all that?
Well, I mean, he's special. I mean, young man, for great family, been through a lot. Came in, had to recover from an injury, then same injury again, cost him another year, which is how he was able to get the 6 year of eligibility. He's been through a ton. He plays at a position that, you're getting hit by 2 guys every play. Then we asked him to move outside because we felt like we needed more size on normal downs, and he did that and didn't bat an eye. Named captain by his teammates, which is the highest honor you can have. He's just a terrific young man. He's had a great impact, I think, not only on the field, but I think more importantly off the field. I mean, what you see with CJ is what you get. I mean, he doesn't hide his passion. He doesn't hide, I think, his love for the game, his love for his teammates, his love for Northwestern. I think he's one of those guys that it's all, he wears his heart on his sleeve, and that's the way he plays. He gives everything that he has, and I think he's going to leave an amazing legacy in that room. He's played with some great players up there. I think he's taken that step to become a great player for us, and I think that's the legacy he's going to leave for the Gazianos and the Thompsons and the list goes on and on, the guys that are coming back, that if you do it the way CJ's done it, where you just grind, he just put his nose down and grinded, you can have great success, and that's what CJ's done.
What's in his future, 5 years?
Yeah, I think success. Yeah, I mean, again, a guy that I think has an amazing ability, I think, to relate to everyone. I think he's a man who's strong in his beliefs on what he believes in, but I think he also has a great ability to listen. And, those type of leadership skills, I think, are lost today. Obviously, tomorrow's the election. Thank goodness this nonsense is over that we've been dealing with. We can move on as a country. But, yeah, well, whatever. We'll have to play the cards we're dealt no matter what as citizens. But, it's in a world today that is divided, I think he's a guy that has convictions, but at the same time is willing to listen and has empathy and has great love for his teammates. And to me, I wish we had more leaders like that in our society. I think that you don't always have to be right. You just have to do what's right, And Sometimes it ends up having success, and sometimes it doesn't. But at least you know you can have integrity and you have character, and you can look yourself in the mirror and know you try to do the right thing. And when I think of CJ, that's what I think of. And a guy that's just maximized everything the good Lord's given him. I mean, he's a grinder. He just works. He works in the film room. He works in the practice field. Yeah, and he'll have his days, just like everybody will. But, he's a guy that's been through a lot, and we're very proud of the career that he's had.
For Andrew, 5 catches on Saturday, season high. I think probably a career high as well. Has he earned more time out there, out wide? And what does he bring to that room that maybe some others don't?
Well, yeah, he's played a lot, the whole season. And I think what he brings is a toughness. I think he brings an attitude that, the guys nicknamed him the Bull, he just approaches things, I think, with a chip on his shoulder. Been through a lot in his life. He's seen a lot, and I think, he gave a great speech to the team in training camp just about what he was through. And, he and I had a very candid conversation after last season. I said, if all things being equal, what I know right now, your role is not going to change. And so do you want to come back, or do you want to be honored on senior day? And he looked at me and said, give me a day to think about it. He came back and he said, I want to come back. And then towards the end of the year, I said, all right, we got winter workouts, spring ball, and summer workouts. You sure this is what you want to do? And he said, absolutely, this is what I want to do. And it wasn't that I didn't want him to come back, and it wasn't the program didn't want. I just want to make sure he's happy. And sometimes the best thing for some guys to do is to be happy, is to move on. He and I were just talking last week about some job interviews that he's got, for after the season. So he's another guy like CJ that is just given so much to the program that it's hard to see those guys leave. But at the same time, I'm going to enjoy the heck out of the next 3 games with them that I have guaranteed, and do everything I can to get him a 4th.
On Saturday, when you said one of your aims in that game was to make Wisconsin play defense, what exactly did you mean by that?
Well, their stats show that they go cause as many 3-and-outs as anybody that you play, and their touchdown drives, there were drives. People made them play, made them have to go out and be on the field more than 3, 4, 5, 6 plays. And then, as you saw, as we were able to do that, we were able to put some drives together. And when we did, the one we score. A handful of other ones, we had some self-inflicted wounds or missed some things. They also did a really good job, I think, of getting off blocks, and playing with great swarm. I mean, I thought they tackled very, very well. I mean, we had probably 6 runs that the primary tackler doesn't make the play. It's an explosive run, and their young man made the play. They tackled really clean, and it's a 4-yard gain. And on up top, it's probably like, oh, there's another 4-yard gain on the boundary. You go, There was the one. There was that we had our one-on-one, and we just didn't get it. And that's why they're a top 10 team. And to beat those types of teams, and really to beat anybody in the Big Ten, those are the types of plays that you have to make. And for you could argue 3 of the last 5, maybe even. Even going back to the Duke game when we made a bunch of plays, it's really not a magical formula, and that we just weren't able to do that and sustain enough. And then, obviously the compounding of not getting off the field well enough on 3rd down on defense, you kind of play right into the Wisconsin mold of what they want to do. They want to huddle up, take 15 minutes off the clock in the huddle. So you just got to go into the game thinking it's 15 minutes as far as their time of possession. And then you got to get off the field, and you got to flip it, and we weren't able to do that.
Then when you see, though, that you're caught in you had possessions, all but 2 of your possessions, I think, lasted less than 2 minutes on the game clock. Is there any thought, for no other reason, just to give your defense a little more rest, to just slowing your pace down?
Yeah, I didn't think our pace was overly quick in the game on Saturday. I don't think we were Texas Tech, Baylor, type mentality. Yeah, absolutely. We put a lot of thought into that. We talked quite frankly, quite a bit about, our pace of play, our tempo, what we want to do, things of that nature. I don't, and you can go back to Garrick, all the, KJ, different guys that have worked here on our offense. I mean, I'm going to play as fast as our defense typically allows us. I thought our defense, especially in the second half, was playing fine. It was 3rd quarter. We were great. We were outstanding. And that's part of the reason why that drive when we're at the 19 and we end up playing defense on our side of the ball, the 50, was such a critical drive because it's not playing an option team, but when a team takes that much time, you've got to be efficient in your possessions, and obviously we weren't on either side of the ball. Matter of fact, I wanted to play faster. We just didn't get enough first downs because I wanted to make them play defense. I wanted them to make them play, and obviously we didn't get that done. So. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Go Cats.
The bull story? It's just kind of like a Philly slang. That's where I'm from, just outside of Philadelphia, and kind of just a bull mentality. I guess coach has kind of put upon me the past few years, and then my roommates, Cam Dickerson, Mike McHugh, past receivers here, they just kept calling me bull, and just kind of stuck, and it kind of filtered into the program a little bit. So I guess that's where it came from.
Andrew, 5 catches on Saturday were season high. Do you feel like you've been becoming more involved in the offense in recent weeks?
I mean, a little. I mean, last week I was involved, but the week before that I didn't have a catch. So, I was more involved this week, just because I'm sure teams are starting to key AC a little more, and our inside guys especially. That's where a lot of our production has come from our inside receivers. So I guess just being ready on the outside for every opportunity that comes my way. Clayton always pulls some of the outside guys aside and is like, hey, this week's going to be your week. We got some shots to take on the outside. And, I guess it's just ready for that opportunity.
Brad, Wisconsin was obviously a very tough team to play on the line. What were your thoughts on how the battle in the trenches went? And Fitz said that the performance wasn't good enough. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Honestly, we just didn't play well enough. And, they were a very physical, well-coached team, and they had some playmakers. And, we couldn't run the ball. So, it was kind of frustrating on us. But, it's, at the end of the day, it is on us to create the holes for JJ and other running backs to make the plays. And, we just didn't – at the end of the day, we didn't come out ready to play. So.
Is there any one thing that makes them difficult?
Wisconsin?
Yeah.
I know the guys I went against. I didn't play my best game either, and they. I don't know if there was any one thing. They were just a very well coached team, and they had a lot of hardworking guys, and as I alluded to earlier, they just got the better of us, and I like to think that we have a lot of pride in our play, and we just didn't bring it that day. So this week's a new week, and we're gonna practice harder, and we'll get it done.
What's the key going into these last 3 weeks? Is there one key thing on offense that you guys know you have to get done if you're gonna get to the postseason?
Yeah, it's just go 1-0 this week. We'll worry about the next 2 when we get to it. But as an offense, we just want to get the ball rolling and play a full game of football that we're capable of playing. We haven't really gotten to that yet. We've showed glimpses here and there, but we haven't been able to really push for a full game of Northwestern offense football, So we're going to get to that, and I really feel strongly about how well we bounced back in previous weeks. So this will be a big bounce back week, and we're going to see how hard we really want it. We started today, but tomorrow's really, that grind practice, that Tuesday practice is really when you can really see how well prepared and how much you really want it as an offense, as a defense too. You can really see it early on in the week. So,
Brad, tell us a little bit about a JB Butler, who's been playing next to you now. He started the last 4 games, and how are you working side by side and communication, his development, etc.?
Yeah, JB's a great guy, and he's a great player, I think. And I've actually known JB for a while. I'd hosted him on his visit here, so I like to think that we have a pretty good connection. And I can't really say I'm doing anything extra. I mean, he comes every Tuesday and every week, ready to play and like he's about to start. And he's had the fortune of starting the last few weeks, and I think he's done an excellent job of it. And I'm very happy with his progress and his growth. And I mean, I think he makes us a better line. And so moving forward, love to have him there.
Each week as you got a little bit better, progress?
I like to think so, yes, sir.
Anything else for Andrew or Brad?
Andrew, if you were hypothetically making the case to NFL scouts and NFL teams about Austin Carr playing at the next level, what do you think that his main argument would be for that?
Coming from AC or coming from me?
Coming from you, sir. Someone in that room with him.
I mean, I came in with AC, and all it is nothing but hard work. There's nothing you can't knock how hard that man has worked since the day he got here. He came in running routes, and we would watch him just to make fun of him. No lie. It was hilarious. And, as freshmen, we all did it a little bit differently. We all ran funny routes and everything, but AC's routes were so hilarious. And I bring it up to him all the time, like, hey, you remember that last time you ran that exact route you just scored on, 5 years ago when we were here or whatever? And we just sit there and laugh. And, I mean, in one word, I would just say progression. No matter where you put him, he's going to progress. He's going to work hard at wherever you put him. Inside receiver, outside receiver. If you guys remember, he started as an outside guy. And then he's been juggled around. He goes back and forth. And then he finally found his niche as an inside guy, and he's been, I mean, you see the stats, you see the numbers, and he's flourishing. So no matter where you put him on the field, he's going to work hard, and he's going to give you the best Austin Carr that he can give you. Yeah. I mean, they were very unorthodox, so to speak. He was just a raw athlete here. I kind of joke with him all the time, saying how Coach Springer, the wide receiver coach, didn't know his name the first week, so we just mess around and stuff like that. But yeah, they were so unorthodox and so weird that it's just like, I don't know how you came from that to 1,000-yard receiver in 9 games, So. But I mean, he did it, and that's a credit to his hard work, his work ethic, and that's just what he does, and that's how he's always been.
CJ, was there any reluctance to stick around for a 6th season? And if you could maybe run us through your journey to get to this table, how would it go?
No, there wasn't any reluctance to stick around for that extra season. My goal is to play football as long as I can, so me getting the opportunity to play at 6 was a dream come true. It was honestly a blessing. So that was really good, really big. My story on how I got here.
Yeah, what injury was it, and what all did you have?
My freshman year, I broke my foot. Got a surgery. That year ended. My second year, I had another foot injury on the opposite foot. Held me out for another year. And then, from there, there's 2 seasons down. So from there, just kind of kept it going.
CJ, how do you like dropping off in pass coverage from a defensive end standpoint? I know you deflected one last week. I mean, do you feel like you're really a linebacker in, in D-line sheep clothing or something?
Nah, I wish. Dropping is an experience in itself. Being a big guy, it's always cool to be like, yeah, you get to drop and everything. You get that once you see the quarterback's eyes turn to you, you start running a little faster and you get pretty nervous. But dropping. I've worked the past couple weeks. So when I started the season, I wasn't dropping too well, and I talked to Coach Long about it. He's helped me out with it. Been working pre-practice on my drops, so I was really happy to be able to get that tip pass this week and have it come through. Put some bad drops on film, so I was happy to be able to put one good one on film.
Did your teammates thought you should have caught that
I got some jokes here and there, but I stopped the pass from going, and we moved on to the next play pass.
Jared, I'll ask you, but not to make this the CJ show, but Fitz was in here and he was talking about CJ and how he really listens to people and is easy to get along with and all that. And he actually started talking about the election. I think Fitz wants CJ to run at some point. What is his personality like? What makes him a good captain? All that.
I think CJ is a great leader, and I think what makes him such a good leader is that he's so brutally honest. He's not afraid to tell you about yourself, and he's not afraid to give you his critique, and then at the same time, he wants to be critiqued himself. He tells younger guys all the time, if you see me not doing something I'm supposed to be doing, then to get on me about it. So he's not hypocritical, and he wants critiques and guys getting on each other to go both ways. So I think that's what's special about his leadership style.
What has he said about your game?
He was getting on me before about not being as much of a dog as he thought I should be. Running the ball, getting there, and being angry when I get there. And then also he's talked to me about trying to be a leader in my position room. Being one of the older guys in a young DB room. He's talked to me about getting on those younger guys and then making sure I'm always in the right position that I need to be in so that I can be in a leadership position.
Jared, Purdue's passing over 45 times a game, which is the most in the conference. How are you and the rest of the secondary preparing to handle that kind of volume of plays headed your way?
Yeah, so we'll just be in the film room, extra, and seeing how they want to attack us, what they're going to do out on the perimeter. But we see it as an opportunity for us to make plays. The more the ball's in the air, the more opportunities, the more chances we'll have to get our hands on it and get around it a little more.
What is your guys' thought about Friday night football? There's going to be more of that in the Big Ten coming up. The people who are opposed think it's, Friday night should be for high school. Go miss class time if you do it. What all you think?
I'm going to be gone, so you might as well put your thoughts up.
So I think, we miss a little bit of class time on Fridays traveling as it is. So honestly, I think, having those games on Fridays gives us, more of a weekend, I guess, to do the catching up, on schoolwork that we would, be trying to cram in all on Sunday. So, traveling Thursday and then being back with the, the weekend ahead of us on Friday night, that just gives us a lot more time Saturday and Sunday and then, Monday to do things we need to do. So, if they want to have more games on Friday, I don't mind at all.
What do you think, man? And is it also the game won't be as good if you have less prep time, or what all goes into it?
As far as that goes, no, I don't. I think prep time will be the same. My opinion on it, I don't think I have an opinion either way. I think obviously, anytime you get to play football is a great thing. So a day earlier is a day less to wait to play. But it'll honestly be an adjustment for the whole Big Ten, and it'll be very interesting to see how teams adjust to it. Being here for 6 years, I'm so used to that. Monday you go through everything. Tuesday, Wednesday, you hit it hard in practice. Thursday, you get ready to clean everything up. Friday, travel. Saturday, you're playing. So it'll be interesting to see how teams handle it and how players adjust to it. But it should be good. It should be something new, a good switch up.
What's the feeling like with the defense going into the last 3 games? Are you guys optimistic that you can make enough plays to get to the 3 win or the 2 more wins to get to the postseason?
Yeah, so as a defense, we plan to do the things that we were doing early on or in the middle part of the season that were helping us get those wins. For the past 2 weeks, we haven't caused a turnover, made a play, so that'll be definitely something we're harping on in practice this week. Stripping on the ball, getting population around the ball carrier. Trying to make interceptions, tips, sacks, things like that. To give our offense extra possessions. So we're gonna do everything that we can do in these next 3 games to get those wins.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Just looking forward to the 3 weeks. hey, we want to segment it and look at one game at a time. But as a defense, earlier in the year I talked about it, and after our slow start, we had 2 losses, and we were 1-2, and then 1-3 with Nebraska. And I said our backs were against the wall, and our backs against the wall again. We have 3 games. We need at least 2 more wins to make a bowl, 3 more wins to solidify a good bowl, any bowl. Our backs are against the wall. That sense of urgency needs to raise on the defensive side of the ball. We need to fly around. Our effort needs to go up. Our playmaking needs to go up, and we need to create turnovers for the offense so we could get points on the board and just get the thing rolling.